Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jill Bastian, and with me today is Kim Stiglitz. We're from the marketing team. And today we're going to take you through some very specific information in creating your email, creating an effective call to action. This is something we talk about a lot in our webinars, and so we thought that it was high time that we had a specific webinar to help you with this. Just a couple things before we actually dive into the webinar information. First of all, this is one of our shorter webinars, so it will be about 20 to 25 minutes long, and then we will do Q&A at the end, as we do for all of our webinars. And to answer the question we have at every single webinar, yes, this is being recorded. Yes, we will put it up on the website, on the help site next week, along with the slide deck as well, so you can take a look at the information if there's something you need to jot down. So with that, let's go ahead and get started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. And I'm going to take you through the agenda for just a moment, and then we'll jump right into the action. So we're going to talk about what exactly is a call to action. It's very much a marketing term, and if you don't know what it is, we'll make sure we cover that. Why you should be using calls to action, as Jill mentioned in your email, but you can also use these on your website and your blog. You can use them just about anywhere. 3 keys to an effective call to action action buttons, because they don't all have to be buttons. And then we will do a demo of our brand new product, the VR Button Builder, and show you what that's about. We'll show you some resources, and then as Jill mentioned, we'll have some Q&A. So what is a call to action? And a call to action, as I mentioned, is a marketing concept, and it's a request or a direction to do something. What should your customer do? And that's something, as we sit down to write our messages here at Vertical Response, and, sometimes you're kind of trying to find out, like, how should I approach this? And, my question to my team is always, what do you want the reader to do? So one of the first things we do is talk about positioning, what's in it for the reader, and then what do you want them to do? So anytime you're creating your emails, making sure that you include those things. Positioning, what's in it for your reader, and then your call to action, what do you want them to do? Pretty straightforward. So why should you use a call to action? Well, call to actions urge your reader or listener or viewer to take action on that. Have something immediate, create that sense of urgency. Tell them what you want them to do. Make it easy for them. There's often times, and we just wrote a blog post about this, like why some emails just are really ineffective. We used not as nice of a word in the blog post, but why are your emails not getting the impact you want? Why are they not getting the action that you want? And I want you to really go back and look at some of the messages you've been sending and ask yourself, do I have a crystal clear call to action? Can I read through this? Can I give this to someone who has no idea what I'm talking about and they know what they should do with this message? If you don't have a call to action in there, then you need to start including one. If it's just informational, then that's great. But if you are trying to sell something or get someone to do something, make sure you have that call to action. Having a call to action can also really help your metrics. A lot of people are always asking us, what's a good open rate? What's a good click-through rate? Well, by including calls to actions, you can really have an immediate impact on your click-throughs. A lot of people judge their effectiveness of their campaign on their open rate, but what I really love to look at is the click-through, because that will tell you, are they doing what you want them to do? Are they going to get more information? Are they buying? Are they converting? So really
are they engaged?
Exactly. So yeah, you might have gotten them to open it, but then they look at it and they just delete it. So don't live and die by your open rate as much. You want it to be strong. And really anything around 25% is a great open rate. But start to really look at your click-throughs, and we'll talk a little bit more about testing in a moment. But by including these calls to actions, you really can see that impact on your click-throughs. And of course, you can increase your sales. So that's always a plus. So
or donations if you're a nonprofit, if you're not actually looking for people to buy, if you're asking people to donate to your organization, if you're asking them to attend a class or download a guide to help them understand your organization. All of those are things that can increase your sales. We'll just put sales in quotes.
Yeah, I was going to say sales in a broad term.
Right.
So like you said, donations, registrations, even for something like this, we had a call to action on our website to register for this webinar. So, and here you all are. So it worked. So let's talk about the keys to an effective call to action. So your call to action should say the action you want your subscriber to take. In this example at the bottom, we have a bunch of different buttons, and what you can see is one thing I'm very adamant about is using an active voice in your call to action button. A lot of action there. So words like download, register, sign up, take, get, create, buy, all of those things are active and action verbs, so you want to always do that. You can get a whole list of these, but don't make them guess. Really tell them what you want them to use. And you can test the words that you use. Sometimes in text, if you're dealing with a more low-tech audience, sometimes the download can be a scary word. So instead of saying download now, you might want to say something like get the guide now, something like that, versus download. So you can really test the words that you're using on your call to action as well. And then the design of your call to action. You can definitely use text links for your call to action. You want to make sure your call to action is linked to where you want them to go. So not only telling them what you need them or want them to do, but linking them there. So it makes it very easy. If you're asking them to buy something, link it right to the description of the product or link it right to the purchase page. And with your design, if you're doing a text link, then there's really not a lot to design there. But you'll see as we go into our button builder in a few minutes that you really want to make sure if you are using buttons, that you want them to stand out. You want this to be easily identifiable as a button, as something that you can click on. And you can do that by making it large, not excessively so, and we'll see an example. You want to make sure that it contrasts. This isn't a time to be uber matchy-matchy. If your whole template is blue that you're using, you may want to make your call to action green or orange or red or yellow, something that will make it stand out from the messaging around it. You can also make sure that you have a significant amount of white space around it, and that's, contextually, you'll have to see how much white space, but especially if people are looking at your message on a mobile device, and a button will be much easier for them to click on a mobile device, but making sure that there's white space around that, so when they're actually clicking the button, that it's only the button they're selecting. And then making sure that, again, it stands out. It's contrast. It has those action verbs in it. So those are 3 things. Anything you want to add, Jill?
No,
No, you're good? Okay.
I usually jump in when I have something to say.
Perfect. So here's an example. This was just a very short and simple message, but one of the things I'd love for you to walk away from this is not thinking that buttons are maybe the be-all to end-all, but that you test them. So in this message, this was a sale message we sent out to our audience, and we used a combination of text links and then a call to action button. And in those text links, you can see some of them are actually call to actions, like use promo code MCA50 or take advantage. It's telling them to do something. It's very clear what we want them to do here. We want them to use this offer. We want them to buy email credits. So you can see we have a mixture here. And what we do is go in and analyze once we've sent this, and we count how many clicks did we get on the button, how many clicks did we get on the text links, and then we can see what's more successful. So we tested our buttons versus our text links over about a 3-month period, and we saw that we got 26% more click-throughs on our buttons versus text links. So to us, that was very encouraging, and we really embraced buttons at that point. But we tend to use in emails like this a combination of a button and a text link. So if you wanted to test this in a very simple manner, you could use our list segmentation tool, and you could do a split test. You could basically take one list. You could split it, I would say, in 3 different segments, and you could send one message with just text links. You could send the second message with a combination of text and buttons, and then send the third message just with buttons, and see how that performs. And if you're finding, there's an infinite amount of testing you can do, try different tests with changing the wording on the button. Like this says, click here and save. I sent this message out, and then a week later, I decided to change that button to say something like, save 50% now. So you can really test and try different things to continue to make things even more successful. So if you try it once, and it doesn't go well, try it again to a small portion of your audience. You can test it to 20% of your audience, see what works, and then go out and send the message that performed the best.
is kind of what we were just talking about in the slide.
Exactly. So here you go. And this is going to lead into a couple-minute demo here. We have a new tool. It's called the Vertical Response Button Builder, and you don't even have to log into your account to use it. You can just go to buttons.verticalresponse.com. So if you guys want to go to that and kind of follow along and play with it as we're demoing this, it's something new that we've created. It's absolutely free, and you can use it right on your website. You can use it in your email campaigns, and it's, like I said, completely free and super easy to use. I have a 5-year-old, actually, a little personal story, and we are going to do a lemonade stand at the end of the month, so I was talking to her about what would her call to action be. Nice having a marketing mother for her lemonade stand, and it was, buy lemonade now, and I was throwing, hey, we could send out a little thing and create a button. So even she can do this, so you all can do that too.
Yeah. So this is the site. It's buttons.verticalresponse.com. And you can build whatever you want your button to say. So in the first box, you're just going to type in the information for your button. So if we're going to say learn more, just type it in. And then you get these 5 drop-down menus here to make the button look however you want your button to look. So you can select your shape. The default is rounded. You can also do a rectangular shape so the edges aren't round. You could do a square button. And you can also do a circle as well. You can change the color of your button, and clicking on the drop down, you can change it to, you have like 6 colors here that you can select from, but you can also click other and either type in a color code that you want to use if you know what color you want, or if you click on the box, you have a color picker and you can select from the range of colors here to create the color of button that you want. Border color by default is turned off, and you can put a border around it. You'll notice if I select these darker colors, you can see where the border is. What I would recommend is selecting white for your border, and then you'll notice that the button has a much smoother edge. There's not so many pixels. It's not quite as pixelated looking if you use the white border.
I love the white border. It just makes it really crisp.
Yeah.
Kind of just.
And then, of course, the background of your email should be white. That's generally what we would recommend. So it'll blend right in, and it'll just make your button look that much nicer. And then you can select from some different fonts that we have in here. There's just a couple in here for you to select from. If there's something that you can't live without, you can send in some feedback, and we can see about adding that in there. But we pretty much have all the ones that you would probably want to use for your buttons. You can even do some fancy stuff like that. Harder to read, though. And then you can change the color of your font. Again, it's the same basic colors that you saw earlier for the color of your button. And again, you also have the option of selecting a specific color. So if you're making your button match something, maybe your website, or you have colors for your organization, you can create buttons that match just by typing in the button color or the color code in there. Once you've created the button that you love, type in your email address. I might have done this before. And then click Send Me My Button. And we're going to email the button to you. And you'll get an email in just like a minute or 2, and you can download your button from the email. And then you just use it as any image in your email. So you would upload that into your image library.
Can we show that real quick? Or is that
show what?
How to put the button in?
Sure, Kim.
Hold, please. It's really simple, but I think it's really helpful just to kind of, we're going to boot up an account here. I need to play some little hold music. Internet connection is going a little slowly in this room right now.
Oh, it died on me earlier. I didn't tell you that story. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be letting me.
Okay, never mind.
Hopefully you can
so
still see our
you can continue to walk through the so how you would do it.
Anyway, we'll
paint a picture with our words.
Yeah, you would just upload it like you would any image for your email in the library. And then when you're ready to place it, click. So let's, for example, in this one, you would just click where you want your image to go. So I would click here. I would click the image button in the toolbar for creating the email, select the button that I wanted to use, and our system will just put it in there. And just like any other image that you put in your email, you just, once it's in the email, you click on it and then click the icon in the toolbar to set up a URL for that. So you just click the little chain icon, type in your URL, and then the button is clickable. So it's very easy. It's free. There's no charge for using the buttons. So we certainly encourage you guys to start testing out our new buttons for your call to action. Although, as Kim said, you don't have to use buttons for calls to action. We just happened to see when we did that a pretty big increase in our click-through rate.
Definitely.
So here are some resources for various things. So some of these you might have seen before if you've come to any of our webinars. Our blog is a great resource for information. Our product blog, which is what we have up here on the slide, is actually a great place to get information specific to our product. And we do have some blog posts about call to action and using the button maker as well. Our VR Buzz newsletter also has lots of great tips and information in it. So if you haven't signed up, that's something you can do. And again, it's free. We also have our guides page, which has lots and lots of guides available for all kinds of aspects for creating your emails. So if you go to our website and click on resources, you'll see where the guides are, and this is the URL here on the slide. These are the two that I would recommend checking out that will help you with creating your emails and creating call to actions. Email checklist and 8 email marketing basics to remember. Both of those are on there. Again, these are also free resources. This is the URL for a button builder. And then our help site, help.verticalresponse.com, also has some information there on creating buttons for your emails.